So what steps are being taken there in response? And what is the message from the Biden administration? I asked Alejandro Giammattei, the president of Guatemala.
So many of these people lost everything they had. They have no jobs, no homes, losing it to hurricanes, and then there's the violence. If you were in those parents' shoes, what would you do?
It's difficult to say. It's difficult to answer. But they lose something more important. They lose the hope.
And sometimes their lives.
And losing the hope doesn't matter their lives.
It's heartbreaking. It touches you.
Touch anyone.
It's a problem that touches the heart of any human being with an ounce of mercy. A tiny bit of mercy. It has to hurt them.
Here in Guatemala, how bad is the situation with people going north?
Well, the situation is complicated. People emigrate because they lack opportunities. People emigrate because they have no jobs, no home, no health, no education or security. And those are the 5 factors that effectively cause problems and lead people to leave their countries in search of a dream that is no longer such an American dream. It's a much more complicated dream.
Last night, we interviewed some people on the streets of the capital here, and also we've been out in the countryside. So many of them tell us that they don't want to leave Guatemala, but they don't see an economic future here. They have no choice but to pay the smugglers, the coyotes, and head north. What would you tell them?
No one abandons their home, their family, or their land on a lark. That is what a tourist does. But people who do it out of need have to find in their country enough guarantees that they will have opportunities. And that is what we have been talking about with Vice President Harris and President Biden, about the need to build walls of prosperity, as opposed to the physical walls, the high walls. Those anyone can cross. Physical walls don't stop immigration. And if not, they hire someone like El Chapo Guzman to dig a tunnel and cross underneath. But the wall doesn't stop it. The only thing that stops a person is a wall of prosperity.
Quería enseñarle un video, porque la situación está muy crítica en la frontera de los Estados Unidos. Did you see this video of 2 little girls crossing the border wall, and the coyotes drop them over? And you see the 2, 3, they're 3 and 5 years old. They drop one little girl, and then they go back for her sister, and they drop her, and then the coyotes run back into Mexico. What do you think when you see that?
That sometimes it's an embarrassment to be a human.
You're ashamed to be a human.
No animal does that. Whoever did that is someone whose livelihood depends on that.
Do you think people have been led to believe that President Biden would be easier on immigrants, especially children?
That was not exactly Biden's message. But they used his message to turn it around and tell people, now's the time. They'll receive you. Let's go. The message is confusing. Messages have to be clear.
Are you more optimistic that this immigration problem will be solved, or at least curtailed, under the Biden administration or the Trump administration, as it was?
I think we'll be better than with Biden than Trump. I guess so. I hope so. I need so.
And you're already making inroads. There's signs of progress.
Yes. And in fact, the United States didn't tell us, help us stop the caravans. They didn't ask us to do that. We did it. Because you can't have 8,000 people enter, break barriers, not go through immigration, and attempt to invade the country to get to the other side. That's an invasion.
There is dramatic video of that confrontation in Vado Hondo, where 7,000 Hondurans met up with your military forces. It was brutal. It was pretty violent. Can that happen again?
Well, we were shot at. Our forces did not fire. We had stones thrown at us. Our forces used their shields to protect themselves from the stones. They started to realize little by little that they wouldn't cross. We have the right to ensure respect for our sovereignty as a country. It's exactly the same thing if I were to enter the United States illegally. Because humans have to understand that there are laws that need to be respected. And what we're asking is for Guatemalan laws to be respected.
I understand that the proposal between the U.S. and Guatemala, proposed by Vice President Harris, would also help create jobs here in Guatemala, improve living conditions here, promote transparency in your government, and that the U.S. would do whatever it can to fight crime here. Are those the details you're mentioning?
No, we mentioned many issues. We mentioned, for example, the issue of corruption. Let's go back to the cause, not to the effect. One of the main causes of corruption in Guatemala is called drug trafficking. That generates corruption at all levels.
You mentioned drug corruption, but Mr. President, Guatemala has been rated as the government of this country as one of the most corrupt governments in the entire world. How can the United States be assured that any funding that it gives to Guatemala will go to where it's supposed to go, toward jobs and security, and that this will stop the people from making dangerous journeys?
I'll correct you in one thing. First of all, I've been here 14 months. Not a single accusation of corruption has been lodged against me or against any of my ministers, not a single one. Of course, you can tell me that there have been corrupt governments. Well, of course, yes, I won't deny that. But you can't say that this government, which has faced the pandemic, I only served 49 days in office with no pandemic, that we have devoted ourselves to corruption. What corruption? We haven't been accused of corruption. Because we need the United States to open its doors. We need the United States to see us as their front yard, as their partner, more than an ally, to be partners, because we are partners in the same problems. They don't want illegal people over there, and I don't want them to leave. So we have a common problem. Let's solve it together. And the way to solve it together is like we discussed with Vice President Harris, whom I invited to come to Guatemala in the next few weeks, so that we can define what is already being done.
Immigration is not a crime.
No, it is not a crime. The right to leave one place and go to another is not a crime. What is a crime is that we, the governments, have not done enough to keep people from needing to leave. That is the crime.
So what do you tell those people that I met on the streets about whether they should go or not, who are desperate to go?
Tell them to have faith, to have trust. And so I would tell people to have faith. We know that we're going through difficult moments. The whole world, not just the country, the world.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.